We're going to start in 5 minutes, so if you would please work your way to your table, that would be great. We are in the television business, so 11 o'clock we start.
Welcome to the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, Wisconsin Silver Circle Honors Ceremony.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Today is one of my favorite days of the year because we get to take time to celebrate excellence in the business that we love, with the people that we love, at a place that I love. Unfortunately, Marquette President Kimo Ayun can't be here today. He's traveling, but he did send us a welcoming message.
Good afternoon. I hope you're having an amazing day. I'm sorry that I can't be with you. It's an event that I look forward to attending every year. First, thanks to Mark Zaromsky for organizing and continuing to be the spearhead of this initiative. A few years ago, he asked me whether or not there was an opportunity to bring the awards to Marquette University, and I'm so grateful that we found a way, and I look forward to being able to bring it back for many years to come. Congratulations to all of the winners, well-deserved. You are role models out in society, especially to my favorite people in the audience, the Marquette alums. We're so grateful for all you do. Thank you to everyone in attendance for your continued mentorship. When I think about the professionals and who will lead the industry forward, it's our students today that you're working with. I hope you have an amazing day, and I look forward to seeing you next year. Take care.
Thank you to Kimo. I did confirm that he is in the Eastern time zone on business, so it is good afternoon to him. Good morning for us. But we love being here, and we hope that we're here for years to come as well. You know, my first news director liked to say that being a journalist was a great excuse to go to bars. Because he said, that's where you find out what people are talking about. That's where you find out what the community cares about. Well, my bar days are long gone, but I do like going to a coffee shop every once in a while, and I overheard this conversation. There were four mothers sitting at a table. The first one said, my son is a priest, and when he enters the room, everyone says, Father. Second mother said, well, my son's a bishop. When he enters the room, everyone says, Your Excellency. Third mom says, well, my son is a cardinal. When he enters the room, everyone says, Your Eminence. The fourth mother thought for a little bit, and then she said, well, my son is a 7-foot, 6-inch firefighter, and when he enters the room, everybody says, oh my God. Grant Geringer has, maybe about 1.5 feet to go until you get to that level, so we'll just call him Father. And he is the perfect person to lead us in reflection because Father Grant is a Reverend. In addition to his spiritual duties at Marquette, Father Grant teaches television studio production, theater, and digital media in the Dietrich College of Communication. Father Grant.
Good morning and welcome. Congratulations to this year's Silver Circle Award honorees and their families, guests, and colleagues. Let us be mindful that God is here in our midst. We pray in thanksgiving for your dedication to your work in broadcasting these last 25 years plus, for your commitment to your craft, for your integrity to your work, and for your care of the public to whom you provide different windows to the world. Christ is described as the Word, the great communicator of God's gifts to us through this universe, our world, our country, and the Midwest. You help us to see and hear what is around us and who we are as a human family, with encouragement to participate in the stewardship of the earth and supporting the dignity of the human person. Let us remember those broadcasters who have died this past year. May they experience eternal rest and may our memories of them keep them alive in our hearts and minds. May God continue to bless you in your work and your mentorship of those coming after you. The gift of your experience greatly benefits us and the communities you serve. Be blessed. Amen.
Thank you, Father Grant. It's almost time to eat. Just a couple of real quick notes. Number one, we are being live streamed thanks to some dedicated college and high school students. Our director is Marquette student Hunter Temple. Hunter, stand up from behind there and give us a wave. Everybody wave to Hunter. Thank you so much. Hunter is a sophomore, digital media, double major, digital media and sports communication in the Dietrich College. Students from Union Grove High School are staffing all of our other technical positions. A big thank you to their advisors who are here mentoring them. They've been here since 6:30 this morning, and we appreciate that. Kevin Connor of Marquette and Bill Wald of Union Grove. Thank you so much. It is time to eat. Waitstaff will come and let your table know when it's time to go to the buffet. In the meantime, while you're waiting, get out your text machines and text all your family and friends saying we're live streamed on ChicagoMEOnline.org. All one word, ChicagoMEOnline.org. Enjoy your brunch. We'll be back right at noon with the program. Thank you.
The Chicago Midwest chapter of the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences welcomes you to the Wisconsin Silver Circle Honors Ceremony. We're about to celebrate those who have made significant contributions to Wisconsin television in front of the camera and behind the scenes. Here's a sneak peek at our honorees. Jeff Kiernan has led some of the country's finest television newsrooms during his 40-year career, including WTMJ in Milwaukee and WBBM in Chicago. Now the Vice President of Local News for the EW Scripps Company, he's praised for his commitment to excellence in journalism and the ethical responsibilities that come with it. Journalist, author, and educator Patty Lowe brought national attention to issues affecting Native Americans. Lowe, a member of the Bad River Band of Lake Superior Chippewas, worked at Madison's WKOW and Wisconsin Public Television. She was also a beloved professor at UW-Madison and Northwestern University. 2 decades ago in Milwaukee, WITI newscast producer Carrie Doctor sensed the endless possibilities of streaming live news and taped content. He's been on the digital side for 20 years now and continues to lead the newsroom through digital evolution. WDJT General Manager Ann Brown has been a powerful presence in Milwaukee television since 1998. Competitive yet compassionate, Brown strives to create a positive workplace, focusing on quality storytelling and community involvement. Bill Jartz spent the bulk of his career at WBAY in Green Bay, first as sports director, then news anchor. He's been honored as a local broadcast legend by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and earned a Governor's Service Award for his unselfish donation of time to charitable events. Al Lancaster was Vice President and General Manager of WSAW in Wausau for half of his 40-year career. Under his leadership, WSAW was named Station of the Year for 6 consecutive years and won numerous regional Edward R. Murrow Awards. Chief Meteorologist Mark Baden started at Milwaukee's WISN in 1997 and never looked back. Baden has a following for blending science and personality and is unflappable covering severe weather. The Chicago Midwest Emmy Award winner is also known for his compassionate service to the community. WDJT Sports Director Lance Allen is a 33-year veteran known for his dogged determination. His extensive background spans the Packers TV network, the Badgers radio network, and IndyCar. The National Sports Media Association has named him Wisconsin Sportscaster of the Year 3 times. Now it's time to honor the best of the best. Please welcome the president of the Chicago Midwest chapter, John Shipman.
Good afternoon, everyone. Great to see everyone in this room. It's welcome you to the 2026 Wisconsin Silver Circle Awards. An amazing turnout we have today. So many people here supporting the honorees, whether they're your friend, your family member, or your colleague. There are a lot of people involved in creating this event and putting it on and producing it. It takes months to coordinate and finalize. I want to recognize and give special thanks to Mark Zaromsky over here at Table 1. Mark. He's our executive producer of today's event. He's the board chair of the Wisconsin Silver Circle Committee. And Rebecca Cowing, who's in the back standing by the door. She is our executive director for the Chicago Midwest chapter, and I just want to thank them for all their hard work. These events are really important to our Chicago Midwest chapter, and we have so much going on throughout the year. We invite everyone to get involved with the many workshops we offer, obviously the annual Emmy Awards at the end of the year, and most importantly, becoming a member. Please take a look inside your program sometime today for more information about a membership. We're very proud as a chapter to also offer several scholarships to college and high school students. Since the mid-90s, we've awarded more than $680,000 in scholarships and up to $36,000 each year. So we really support the younger students who are going to eventually have our jobs. So it's a great thing. So we also ask you, as a member and also being here today to also look and see if there are ways to contribute to the scholarships. Okay, so now it's time to get why we're here today. We're really excited for today's honorees. You'll recognize their names because they dedicated at least 25 years or more to the television and media industry and have had remarkable contributions to local broadcasting. When planning an event like this, obviously you need to find someone who's qualified to MC and introduce all our honorees. We have found just the right person for this afternoon. Ted Perry is Wisconsin through and through. April 1st, 1993 was his first day at WITI-TV, and more than 30 years later, you can still watch him as part of the nightly news team along with being their special projects reporter. Ted has seen it all, from Super Bowls to Rose Bowls, the RNC, the DNC, even crossing over the oceans, covering events in Moscow and Somalia. But he has never forgotten where he came from and appreciates a small town feel and a certain burger establishment that now has a plaque in his honor above his favorite seat as he enjoys a butter burger from Solly's. I'm unfamiliar with it, but I'll have to try it sometime. He's a 2016 Silver Circle inductee, and we're thrilled to welcome him back to the stage this afternoon. It's my pleasure to introduce your MC for today's event, Ted Perry.
We'll take care of this Solly's thing right away. Great. We are only 5 minutes off schedule. Thank you for being here, everybody. Thank you. What a great-looking crowd. It's a little dry. If you don't mind, I'm going to let that Mark Baden chapstick that they gave out was really nice, and it's really a nice touch. But I'm a little nervous, and I was fidgeting, and I peeled it back. It turns out they are just expired David Gruber giveaways. So use them at your own risk. Everybody get enough to eat? I love TV people and an open buffet. It reminds me of my childhood growing up in suburban Chicago. I'm from a big Irish Catholic family, and this kind of reminded me of it, because every night at 6, Walter Cronkite would come off the air, and dinner would go on the table. Every night at 6. Mashed potatoes still in the mixing bowl, green beans, and fried chicken. Just enough. My mother would make just enough to feed 9 people. Problem is, there were 10 of us, so we became a competitive lot. So what are we doing here today? Let me offer you this metaphor. Because every night at midnight, every TV station in the state is given a fresh canvas, a blank canvas, and it's your job, no, it's our duty, to fill that frame the way you choose to paint it. The only rule is that you have to fill in the whole frame, because even leaving a corner of that canvas uncovered, leaving it blank, that's unforgivable. Now, you may choose to paint a picture full of facts and leave perspective to the viewer. You may choose to paint an educational picture, an entertaining one, an avant-garde, all of the above. There's no wrong answer here, folks. It's your canvas, and no one will judge you, except for the connoisseurs of this art. They may gravitate to another painting, or another wing of the museum, or another museum altogether, if they don't like what you're hanging in front of them. And painting that picture, well, let's be honest, several pictures, all day long, 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year, it can drive some artists mad. Vincent van Gogh might not have made it in our industry, and if he had, engineers will tell you that's an interesting IFB challenge. Now, many who can't or won't meet this constant demand, they'll simply break their brushes in frustration, and they'll go to work for the paint companies or the canvas makers where the pressure isn't so constant. But they're home by 5 and they've got good dental, and there's no shame in that. Today, we're here to celebrate the artists, the 8 artists who have churned out decades and decades and decades of masterpieces for the world, certainly Wisconsin, to admire. I want to be very clear about this. This is not a longevity award. This is not a perfect attendance award. It's a declaration of sustained creativity and hard work. And I come here this afternoon to be a champion of all of your paintings, to celebrate the way you've decided to fill your frame, because, to paraphrase Dave Matthews, tomorrow we can go back to being competitors, but tonight, let's be friends. Because we gather to honor these artists, these 8 artists, because we know how hard the process is. We know how scathing our critics are, and we know how fickle the connoisseurs of our work can be. And I suspect, and I'll be candid, I suspect a bit nervously, that in the months ahead we may have to watch each other's backs a little more than usual. So it's nice to remember to gather in a room like this and remember in most ways we are all on the same mission, and one at this point of history that we cannot fail. Today's TMJ, where are you folks? Raise your hand today. There you are. I admire your dedication to picking an issue and attacking it from all angles, spending as much time and resources to cover something from every angle, filling your picture with as much paint as that topic needs. The public housing crisis and the reckless driving problem, just two examples that come to mind. And I do like the way you have galleries in every county. That's very smart. CBS 58, your commitment to storytelling shows not just on your nightly newscasts, but on your Sunday morning show, which is as comforting as that first cup of coffee in the morning. Good on you, Mike Strelo. WISN 12, there's a reason your numbers are what they are. Crisp, flowing newscasts served up by professionals who clearly love this state, a strong management team, a Sunday morning political show that's a must-watch for news junkies, and your weather guy is pretty good too. PBS, Wisconsin Public Television, I'm happy to write the checks for all the work that you have hung in our museums. Now look, I'm kind of proud of our corner of the museum as well. I think in terms of canvases painted each day, we're number one. Our 10 p.m. show became an hour since we last gathered in this room. We've added 3 hours of streaming news on Fox Local every afternoon. And in fact, last fall, after an 18-inning World Series game, we experimented with a 2:07 a.m. newscast. It was not well received, but it was transformational. So, what do you say we meet the Silver Circle class of 2026 as fine of a group that has ever gone in together? But first, I need two strong people to help. Jim Wilson and Brian Graham, could you find me two strong people? Or, oh, do it yourselves. All right, let's bring this up, because now we're going to play, you all know the term small walkie, right? If you don't, small walkie is the idea that everyone in this town, much like Kevin Bacon, we can get there in 6 steps or less. And as I was given this assignment, I looked up, thank you fellas, Brian Graham, a Silver Circle inductee, and Jim Wilson, two of the finest men I know. Turn it around, fellas, on the green dots, you got it. So this is the class of 2026. Thanks, boys, we'll take it from here. All right, so instead of small walkie, we're gonna play small Scotty, all right? Can you hear me if I go to the wireless? How we doing, you got me? All right, so this is the list of our inductees, and I'm gonna prove to you that no matter where we start, we can get to the end of the list by straight lines. Where do you want to start? Anyone, shout out, who do you want to start? Mark Baton, where else? Who else? I hear Al Lancaster. Great, we'll start with Al Lancaster. This is audience participation, you're allowed to speak up. Al Lancaster from WSAW up in the North Woods, the gem of the North Woods. Al's been the general manager there for more than almost a quarter century, right? 23 years up there. But you know what? You know who else started at WSAW? Bill Jarts. That's right, Green Bay. You may have had him, but he didn't start there, right? Where did Bill play college football? Anyone? Northwestern, that's right. And who teaches at Northwestern? Patty Lowe, Professor Patty Lowe. But Patty Lowe has a degree from where? PhD, University of Wisconsin-Madison. By the way, nice ad for you and Lance. Myra, did we get one when we went in from the UW? We did not. Okay, I don't know what's going on there, but excellent sucking up, Lance. All right, so we go to Lance here. Lance is fascinating. We can go almost anywhere from Lance. But let's go to Ann Brown, CBS 58 General Manager. Ann Brown came to this city 25 years ago? More? 35 years ago? Less? Okay, in there. She worked at WITI for many years, now running the show over at CBS 58. But for 2 decades at least, she worked with Carrie Doctor from our digital department. Carrie, we're getting to you, don't worry about it. Carrie Doctor actually started his career at WTMJ Radio, as did Jeff Kiernan. Fact check me on Jeff, right? All right. Jeff also did the assignment desk at WISN, which gets us to Mark Baden. How about that? We are all connected. Now, if you want to go full Kevin Bacon on this, this is easy to do, because we know if they made a movie of these inductees, Mark Baden would be played by, of course, Ricky Schroeder. Ricky Schroeder was in Across the Tracks with Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt was in Sleepers with Kevin Bacon, and the circle is completed. There we go. All right. Enough foolery. Every good baseball team and every award show needs a great leadoff hitter, and we got one for you. Fitting that Lance Allen, where are you, Lance? There you are. Fitting that Lance Allen is going first, because Lance likes to be the first to get a scoop. And Lance likes to be the first to get that scoop on the air. Are you Lance's kids? But I'll tell you, you know what Lance loves? Lance loves telling you he was the first to get that scoop and get it on the air. He is as competitive as the athletes he covers, and I mean that as a compliment. Many years back, when the OGs were young Gs, we would gather here at Marquette in the gym and play hoops. Baden was one of them, Brian Graham, Jim Wilson, I believe, played, Tim Van Voren, Jason Hunter, all of us. We would gather and play hoops on a Friday morning, really a coming together of the tribe, so to speak. And it was during this time, early 2000s to mid-2000s, the Brett Favre drama was starting. Jartsy, you know what that's like, right? Is he coming? Is he going? Is he retiring? And so it was also a time when most of us had newsroom pagers still. And when we played, we would line them all up on a bench. And frankly, it looked like the lost and found of a drug dealer convention. There were so many pagers lying around. And my team, Shirts, was playing Lance's team, Skins. And Lance takes off his shirt. Stay with me on the wireless here, fellas. And on his basketball shorts is a pager. And I said, no, Lance, absolutely not. Go put it over there with the rest of them. If Favre does anything more than burp, we're all going to hear about it at the same time. And Lance looked at me and he said, yeah, but I'll have a 15-second head start. And that is how you get into the Silver Circle, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, Lance. Lance Allen.
Lance.
My very good friend Lance Allen.
Go to Lance, my good friend Lance Allen from Milwaukee.
He's our guy telling the sports story.
We hired Lance in 1996 out of WFRV in Green Bay. The thing about Lance that was very evident right away was his work ethic.
As long as I have known Lance, we have referred to him as the hardest working guy in television sports.
The thing we wanted to do, we thought about doing, we knew we should do, he's the one that'll circle back and do that even when it's not convenient. He still makes the time for everybody, whether it's big or small. He listens, and they feel like they have an audience with him. And that's hard to do.
We had an incredible sports department when I look back on it. I was the sports director. We had Kevin Hunt doing the 10 o'clock. Lance and Jesse were both there and doing wonderful work. So between the four of us and Rick Reprock, an integral part of what we were doing as sports producer, those are really, as you say, the golden times.
Yeah, I've been in Milwaukee for a really long time and have had the good fortune to watch Lance and compete against him, friendly competition. And when you have the opportunity to hire somebody like that, you take it.
It's very easy to follow someone who's willing to do everything they ask of you and beyond. I don't know that I've ever seen anyone with a better work ethic than Lance Allen. He does not stop. I don't think he knows how to stop.
I know that anything that I potentially have to do, any kind of long day I've had, I know Lance is already willing to have it himself. It doesn't matter if it's a Bucks practice, a Bucks game, a Packers game, Packers practice. He'll be at the Little League game. I think having someone who shows that example each day is important to be able to try to emulate and try to chase after.
It's just great to watch him over just this past year, everything that he's been able to bring to the table, the conversations that he can have, the connections that he makes. It's just, he's on a level all by himself.
one of the most important things with local news, local sports, is you get a lot of context.
Lance's contact list is probably one of the most valuable things.
The athletes genuinely care about Lance as a person because Lance genuinely cares about them.
It's listening to somebody telling a story and building that connection that you can go back to later and draw upon that. But let me tell you, he puts in the man hours on the phone to get there, and I'm exhausted just thinking about it.
Lance, congratulations. Your success comes as no surprise.
Lance, congratulations on this amazing award.
Lance Allen, congratulations, brother. You deserve every bit of it, man. You always had my back, and I'm going to try to keep yours, man. But I hope the award is a gold booster seat so you can finally touch the pedals. Love you, brother. Congratulations. Grave digger, out.
This is Kevin Harlan of CBS Sports congratulating my very good friend Lance Allen.
Hey Lance, congrats on the Emmy Silver Circle. Well deserved. You're one of the great guys. I always thought a lot of you.
Lance, J.J. Watt here, and I just want to say congratulations on your entry into the Silver Circle. You are more than deserving, my friend. So many years of dedicated commitment to your craft and honing it and the relationships and the friendships that you've built. And I'm very thankful. My whole family is very thankful. You've been a part of our journey the whole way, and you deserve this, my friend. Sending you all the best and well wishes as you head into the Silver Circle.
Please welcome 2026 Silver Circle inductee, Lance Allen.
Woo, thank you. Ted, thank you, I think. You know, that was a little bit of a mini roast. That's good. Mark, thank you. Needed a little convincing, but I appreciate your faith, trust, all that good fun stuff. And you are not going to be happy with me when you get the cameo bill, but we'll figure that out later off that thing. Where's Baden? Baden, we came in 96 and 96. We were the young punks, guys, whatever. Now we're the old farts. What happened? Seriously. Yeah, exactly, yeah. I'm the only one that grays. Apparently you don't. But I already see I'm down to 340, so typical of a newscast. Talking about weather already ate up about 20 to 30 seconds, so, you know what I mean? Sports guy always gets the short shrift, you know what I'm saying? Unbelievable. All right, I have a lot of people to thank and a long way to go in 3.5 minutes, but we're going to do this. First of all, I'd like to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for no other reason I would be here without that and opening up so many doors for me when so many times I had nothing to do with this, including being a 16-year-old at WJMC in Rice Lake, Wisconsin, when Don Tobias and Tom Kozer hired me. Why on earth they put a teenager in charge of a blowtorch radio station like that, I have no idea, but that's divine intervention. Ms. Hahn, who said, what do you want to do with the rest of your life? Like a Twisted Sister video, I kid you not, and everybody stood up in the class, in an English class, and said, that kid does play-by-play of our games because he's never in the game, so he's always talking about the games. He'd be a great sports announcer. So that's where it all kind of started. Mr. Albrecht, Mrs. Gifford, Havener, Popko, Larson, Anderson, thank you so much. Dr. Panier at UW-Barron County, I knew I wasn't going to be splitting atoms anytime soon and convinced me that that was a great place for me to start. James Hoyt, who went into the Silver Circle earlier, give him a round of applause. Legendary guy at Wisconsin, love him to death. Dave Kerpius, UW professor who scared us to death, and now he's the dean of the journalism school at Missouri. Absolutely incredible guy, thank you both. Craig Gashon, Mike Heller, interned under them, learned a ton, cut a weather demo under Elmer Childress. Yes, I kid you not, once again, doors open. I did weather in Rhinelander. That was my first job. How that happened, I have no idea. Chris Oatman, somehow I fooled him. Al Cordamont that you saw in the video. Martin Kilcoyne, Joel Goldberg, Hunts, you're out there. Thank you so much. JFW days were awesome and learned so much. Then you get to Green Bay. Larry McCarron, you saw him on there. Mino, Burke, great stuff. Dennis, Kevin, Jesse, Rick. Rick, you were the glue. Dennis, thank you for taking the time to hire me. Super team, doesn't even describe it. Jeff, thank you for hiring me. You can either thank him or you probably get blame as well, but Jeff hired me and brought me to town. Goucher Jacobs, Milan Meekins, Susan Kim's here, Charles Benson's here. Kent and Tony kept us on the air. You got Jimmy up here, Jim Wilson, Gary Rystad, so many people that helped me, and I can't thank you enough. We had great people, Dan Seelan, Jim Prather, Mark Strakota, Steve Wexler, GM's news directors like Kieran Laporte, Barra, so many great people that helped me. My new family, Channel 58, Ann, Jesse, I see Scott, Joe, Jesse, Mike Strahl, always want to work with you, Amanda, Sarah. I'm going to run out of time if I keep naming everybody, but thank you so much for accepting me and having the faith and trust in me. My parents, I get my stubbornness and my ability to never or very rarely say no, which is sometimes a good thing. Trust me on that. For my family, everybody knows that there's a me and an I in media, and there's an I in journalism. I left on Christmas morning. I worked weekends. I worked nights. I worked holidays. And they allowed this Wisconsin kid to live a dream, and I can never, never, ever pay that back. I'm more proud of your accomplishments than I am of mine. I'm going to wrap this up. I got 10 seconds. I'm going to go over like weather just a hair, all right? I tried to do it in 4, but I'm going to get it done. I will treat you like I treat every middle school, high school class, or college class that I go into. I am a normal guy with a cool job who got to live a dream, who wasn't good enough to play sports, even probably at the college level, let alone any other level. But yet I got to tell the stories of people that I greatly respect and tell the stories of people who did things above and beyond what they could ever do. And I know that hard work pays off because I had nothing else. I said to myself a long time ago, I'm going to outwork everybody and put in the prep and do whatever it takes. So thank you, thank you. I want to thank Jim, Tony, the rest of my family out there, Kim, Rick, Evan, all you guys. I just see faces, Jerry, Bill. I'm seeing so many, Natalie. I'm seeing so many faces that have helped me, and I appreciate that. Hard work pays off. Dreams come true. Tough people don't last. Tough people do. Thank you very much. This is not a retirement award. I'm going to be around for a lot longer, so thank you.
Who punked me? Where did I put my scripts? Yeah, can I have the scripts back, Lance? I probably could, but... And some people use more paint than they're allotted. Bloom where you are planted. Those are the words of former TV6 News Director Jill Geisler, who hired Carrie Doctor when he was still in college at UWM. Bloom where you are planted, indeed. He may have been a young sapling when he started, but he's the tallest pine in our forest now, and he's certainly the sturdiest. Carrie, I can tell you, and Joyce will back me up on this, and Katrina will too, amazing producer, organized, creative, fair. But in 2006, he needed a challenge. So he agreed to start our digital news division. For those of you who just got into TV after digital, you have to remember, we were like, what? Digital what? We treated it like the little brother your mom made you take to the park when you were playing baseball with your friends, and you did it reluctantly, and then one day you look up and digital is the starting center fielder for the Yankees. And you say, how did that happen? Well, in our case, Carrie Doctor, that's how it happened. Photojournalist Eric Litzheim, editor Dave Machuda, and I put together a little tribute to Carrie. And we were going to show it to you, and then I just had an epiphany that we're not going to do that right now. It's not proper. Because I think to really honor Carrie, you should all go to the Fox Local mobile app and see the story there. Now let's get to our next inductee. How do you like it when your stuff goes straight to digital? It's not so fun, is it? Welcome, everybody. Carrie Doctor to the Silver Circle.
Carrie Doctor has two gears. There's regular fast, and then there's
hyperspeed.
You see, he types fast, walks fast, even sort of talks fast.
If you're able to help us out with that, great.
He moves like a man whose to-do list is an hour longer than the time allotted to do it.
We should know in the next half hour.
I think if I had to pick a person who embodies what makes this place great, it would be Carrie.
He means everything to this place.
Since he started as weekend assignment editor in 1990, working his way through the producer ranks, first on weekends, then on mornings, then to the 5 p.m. and eventually the 10.
How are we doing on the 1:30?
What is this title again?
I'll keep you in the loop on that one then.
His kinetic energy has been a sight to see.
If you have a question, Carrie can answer it if you can catch him.
If something were breaking, Carrie would sprint back to the manager's office and then run through the newsroom.
The assignment desk used to be up on that platform.
And then jump onto the assignment desk.
On the little ledge on the platform and hold up and be like, Bruce, Bruce, Bruce.
I was like, who does this?
He was like always a ball of energy, and that hasn't changed.
If you think the RPMs are churning here, just see how he blows off steam. Field producing Harley-Davidson reunions turned him into a biker. The open road being the best tonic to newsroom stress. In 2006, he veered not onto the road less traveled, but the road that had yet to even be paved.
He makes a major career shift and then becomes the person shepherding us into this new era and really leading the charge.
There was one person, Carrie, that launched us into this digital age. He was a department of one.
It's now a digital department of 5, unanimous in their admiration for the man changing how we distribute the news.
Every day, he's excited about what we're going to do. He's excited how we're going to do it. If there's any opportunities to really showcase stuff.
He'll get off a digital call, and I hear him go, oh, my head's just swirling, and I don't know, it's a lot of stuff, and it's really a lot of information, and what am I going to do with all this, and how are we going to get it done? And then he gets it done.
2, 1, hit it.
Through COVID, through the Great Resignation, right, a lot of newsrooms experiencing high turnover, Carrie's team remained entirely intact, no turnover for a couple of years. And in that environment, that's insane.
Carrie's love of two wheels includes the motorless kind, which, while less fast, still requires balance, a skill he's mastered in life.
The only time I see Carrie slow down is when he talks about his grandkids.
He goes home and knows what kind of ranks number 1. Carrie is one of the most proud dads of his children, of his grandchildren.
Carrie, the father of 2 and the grandfather of 3, is happiest around family. His Fox 6 family watched Carrie's kids, Alyssa and Ryan, grow up, get married, start families of their own. And we grieved when their mom, Carrie's wife Nancy, died of breast cancer in 2023. And we marveled at the grace with which he handled it all. And we are grateful to be on this journey with him.
Not only is he just so knowledgeable about everything he does, but he genuinely cares about his employees and the people that are under him.
He always makes you feel like you matter. He always makes you feel heard.
In one word, he's kind. We talk about people being nice. Nice is an action.
There we go. All right.
When you talk about kind, you're talking about someone's heart. That's Carrie.
Please welcome 2026 Silver Circle inductee, Carrie Doctor.
So fun for me, I get to tell you where to go for once, right here.
All right, getting a little older here, so I got to break out the specs. Give me just a moment. There's a reason I'm behind the camera and not in front of the camera, so, and this is one of those reasons. First, thank you to Ted, photojournalist Eric Litzheim, and editor Dave Benchuda for that video. I have no words. Thank you to those who nominated me, the Academy, my fellow news managers who are all back there, colleagues and the digital team. Congratulations to my fellow Silver Circle inductees. I am truly honored and humbled to be part of such an accomplished group. We talked about all these connections before, and when we worked together at Fox 6, I truly appreciated your personal guidance through some tough times. Jeff, I know I was an intern at WTMJ. We didn't have a whole lot of contact, but you made an impression on me. And Lance, don't know if you remember, but we were once in a Milwaukee County jury pool together. Left an impression. All right. So I'd like to tell you, journalism was always the plan, but that's just not how it happened. I actually kind of stumbled into this field. You see, back in 1985, when I was a junior in high school, our semester project in English was the dreaded career paper. The first assignment was to explain what career we chose, why we chose it, and what we hoped to learn. Only problem was I forgot to do it. On the morning that first assignment was due, I'm sitting at the breakfast table watching John Drilling and Joanne Williams do the morning news, and I realized I hadn't picked a career for the paper. In a moment of panic, I chose broadcast journalism. I cranked out that first assignment and turned it in. Fast forward a couple of years, when I got to student orientation at UW-Milwaukee, they asked the same question: what do you want to do? I kind of scratched my head, but the only answer I had at the time was what I researched in high school, which was broadcast journalism, so I went with it. That's literally it. After I was hired at TV6 in February 1990, I popped my head into the office of my then boss, Jill Geisler, to show her the letter she had written back to me during that career paper process. It said, quote unquote, maybe we'll work together someday. I thought that was pretty cool until she said, Carrie, hate to break it to you, but that was a form letter. Still, it worked out. What I didn't see coming was how much I would love the writing, the people, and the sense of purpose that comes with the job. I'm incredibly grateful to Jill for hiring me at TV6 during my final semester at UWM. I know how rare it is to spend an entire career in one newsroom. I never take that for granted. I wouldn't be the news writer I am today without Roseanne St. Amand and Mark Concannon, who took a rookie producer under their wings for a couple of years. And later, Ted and Joyce Garbasiak, who I had the privilege of working with daily for more than 10 years. Their trust, guidance, and friendship mean more than I can say, and I try to pay it forward to younger producers today. I want to thank my parents who are here today, Mom and Dad. So much of who I am comes from you. And Nancy, well, none of this happens without her. She would love all of this and enjoy seeing me sweat in a brand new suit. In our 31+ years of marriage, we supported each other through overnights, second shifts, long hours, countless health challenges, always believing there was a purpose in our work. She spent more than 30 years teaching in Milwaukee Public Schools while bravely battling breast cancer. Last and certainly not least, to my kids, Alyssa and Ryan, their wonderful spouses, and now the grandkids, Sophie, Nathan, and Charlotte. I can't get enough of those little people. You all are my world, and that will never change. Thank you.
Please welcome Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson.
All right, well, good afternoon, Silver Circle. So great to see you all again for another year. Ted, I'm going to make sure that I don't take your script like some other people in this room here. Lance, I'm looking at you. You know, so in a time of pretty dramatic change in media, one thing remains constant. And this is why I enjoy coming here, seeing you all in person, having the opportunity to actually talk to you, because you guys are the dedicated, creative people that are the driving force behind great communications that we get to enjoy, not just here in Milwaukee, but all throughout the state of Wisconsin each and every single day. The people that are honored here today, they reflect that. They've got accomplishments, they've got longevity, and these are individuals who have earned the respect and the trust of not just their peers in this room today, but also the audiences that they serve, again, not just here in Milwaukee, but all throughout the state of Wisconsin. And as an aside, I don't want my news to come from an AI bot. I don't want that. I don't want some freelancer out there making stuff up on social media. I want to get my news from somebody that I know, somebody that I trust, somebody I get to watch every single night on the news. And that is what you all represent here in this room. That said, though, we are in an age of really rapid and constant change, an era of change. And that, I think, is pretty evident. Just 2 days ago, I'm sure that you all are aware that my comments were transmitted not just by your television stations, but also instantaneously on social media. When our honorees began their television careers, the 10 o'clock news, if there was a conference that happened at 10 o'clock in the morning, that was still fresh by the time the 6 o'clock news came in the evening. That's not quite so true these days. Change is a big part of the television business, and everybody here has embraced that reality. And I would anticipate that there's even greater change that's going to happen as we keep moving ahead in the years to come. Even in the midst of that change, video, and the kids tell me this all the time when I go to them, they like to see videos, these short burst videos. I think it's going to remain a constant feature in our presentations, and it will continue to be a leading method for viewers to understand the world in which we live, a world in which there's a lot of change that's happening right now. It's a form of communication that's here to stay, and if for no other reason, the fact that all of us are carrying around I got two, things to view the news on in our pockets on a daily basis. So I join in congratulating all of the honorees, Al, Ann, Bill, Carrie, Jeff, Lance, Mark, and Patty. You all have established high standards, very, very high standards in broadcasting, and earned today's recognition. So congratulations. And when I see Gilbert Brown next year at his annual football clinic that he does for kids here in the city of Milwaukee, I'm going to ask him to make sure he gets me a matching booster seat, Lance. All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. 2 of 8 under our belt, so we're a third of the way there. I know we're bad at math, people, but that's the joke, okay? Wow. All right, I'll slow it down. We've all been there, whether you're on air, management, editor, photographer. Somebody finds out the television station you work for, and their eyes light up, and they said, "That's my TV station. I only watch you." And that's humbling, and it's gratifying, right? But I've worked in TV for almost 40 years, so my favorite TV station has always been the one I worked for. It better be for all of us. A couple of years ago, I was able to buy a little cabin up in Vilas County. Relax, I work for Fox. It's a tiny cabin. I mean, if I worked for Spectrum, I could get a boat and a pier, but no cable, no TV, internet, I should say, no cable TV or internet, just a Sony Trinitron I bought in 1987 and some digital rabbit ears. And I get all the stations, but the one that's my station, the one that I say, that's my station, is WSAW Channel 7. Their on-air team, top-notch. The weather team is amazing. The sports guys are creative and enthusiastic. I love their Friday Night Football highlights. It's basically a Milwaukee-quality TV station that God said, no, I want it up here in God's country. It's got some great alum. Joyce Garbasiak started her wonderful career there. Mike Goucher started his career there. I know many of you others did. It's just a training ground for journalists. It's a fantastic station. Great stations have great leadership. And Al Lancaster ran WSAW for nearly a quarter century. I've never met Al until this morning, but I wanted to do my homework, so I called up there this week, and I talked to one of your folks. I said, tell me about Al. And I got nothing but praise. Nothing but praise, a very enthusiastic response. My favorite quote was this: he lets news people do the news, which is the highest praise you can get from a news person. Went on to be told he was a great dresser, which he's backed up today, an enthusiastic gum chewer. You can always hear the smacking of that gum, I'm told. And before this person hung up, and I'm not naming names, he said, he is a bit frugal, but he's an amazing motivational speaker. In other words, he could get you to run through a wall, but he also made it very clear that you're paying for the repairs. Seems fair. Al Lancaster, welcome to the Wisconsin Silver Circle.
When you see a guy reach for stars in the sky, you can bet that he's doing it for some doll.
I'm actually surprised. I thought he would have said he's more Maverick from Top Gun or maybe James Bond, but I can see a little Nathan Detroit. I get that. He's always scheming, you know, it's always strategy and reconnaissance missions.
Oh, schemer for sure. Al is a guy that is always thinking at the different ways, the different opportunities, the different options he might have to achieve what he's trying to achieve.
Yeah, flawed, but a good-natured, good heart. Overconfident, maybe, a little bit.
We both were going to the Harvard of the Midwest, UW-Platteville, and Al was into theater when he came in. His goal, he wanted to be an actor. And so the first thing he did is he went to the UW-Platteville Arts Department and signed up for their musical drama. And so he auditioned for that, didn't get a part. He was so down, he was so depressed. I said, well, Al, I'm the sports director at the radio station. We need a guy to read sports at 10:25 at night on a Wednesday night. Could you do it? Would you like to do that? Oh, wow, that'd be the great. And just like that, he turned around.
1982, November, October/November. I'm 2 weeks before I graduate college. I don't have a job. I go to Madison to see my old buddy, Tom Kozer.
He was on the job search and wanted to know if I thought he could get an interview with the Midwest family. And I said, well, Phil Fisher is just right down the hall. Let me go talk to him.
I'll tell you something most people don't know. If I didn't get the job in lacrosse, and it's the only interview I had, I was already signed up in the Marine Corps. And so I would have been probably a communications person or a recruitment person in the Marine Corps. That's what I would have done. That was my plan B.
When I first met Al, when he first came to the station, we actually had a staff meeting upstairs, and I vividly remember he walked in, he had his sleeves rolled up, and looking at him, he had a little ball of sweat rolling down his face. And as I got to know him a little bit more, he told me that he was planning to be in Wausau for about 2 or 3 years because his goal was to move up to the larger markets.
At that same year, Gray Television buys Channel 7, and Bob Smith becomes my new boss. The station changed at that moment. You had the right anchor, you had the right boss, and you had the right owner. And I stopped longing to move to another market and really look at what you could do here. This is a heritage station in Wausau. This was Wausau's first station.
2 airplanes have crashed into the World Trade Center in an apparent terrorist attack on our country.
What I really remember about that time when I think about Al is how during the time of need, he took this TV station and opened it up to the community and let us know what it means to be a general manager of a heritage television station.
I think somewhere along the way, he also became very competitive. And so anyone who works with Al will tell you that he hates to lose, really at anything. Working with Al is intense.
We're here to win. That's what we do. We want to be a good corporate citizen, and we want to do all those things. But at the end of the day, you need to win.
Win, whether it was the rate, win the order, win the community. It was all about being successful. And then if he wasn't, okay, what did I learn from that? How do I get better? What do I do next time?
A little station that could, I guess, if there was a theme, that's the one I'd hang on to.
Please welcome 2026 Silver Circle inductee, Al Lancaster.
So we have 4 minutes. I'd like to thank the Academy for this nomination. I'd like to thank my daughter, McKinley Marie Lancaster, who's watching this live streamed at the Arizona State University. She could not be here today. Thank you, McKinley. I'd also like to thank my girlfriend, Jen Soley, and my peeps from Wausau that came all the way here today and surprised me. My story starts in Argyle, Wisconsin. And for those that are not familiar, it's a little town southwest of Madison, about 45 miles. I was born and raised on a dairy farm. I milked cows. I worked in a cheese factory. I went to the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. Tom Kozer was my RA my freshman year in college. That's just crazy luck because he's a Hall of Fame broadcaster. He owns a group of radio stations, and he meets me when I'm 17. He graduates college and goes to Midwest Family Radio in Madison. I graduate the next year, and he introduces me to Phil Fisher, who sends me to Bill Mann and Dick Record in La Crosse. My first sales job was for those two gentlemen, both Hall of Fame broadcasters. I could not have had better teachers right out of the gate. What I've learned from Bill Mann in sales carried through my entire career. Dick Record is one of the best operators in radio. From there, I heard the TV guys don't work as hard and made more money, so I tried to get closer to home in Madison at WKOW. So in 1985, I get a sales job there. The face of my station was Patty Lowe. We had Patty as our anchor at 6 and 10. I was very excited to work in television in my home market. I would cut ads, and I would be the voice, and my mom would listen and tell all of her friends that, you know, he's not on TV, he's sales, and he makes commercials, and he's sometimes in the commercial. I then get promoted to XOQO in La Crosse, Eau Claire as national sales manager. Stay there a couple years. I get promoted to WWMT in Kalamazoo, Michigan. I work for a gentleman by the name of Larry Bussey, also a Hall of Fame broadcaster. I learned how to run a TV station from Larry Bussey. Management by walking around, hiring good people early in their career because you didn't have to pay as much, and you just had to pick well. So you built your team through the draft, not free agency. I learned a lot from Larry. I spent 18 years in sales. I got promoted to general sales manager at WEAU TV in Eau Claire. And then I ran the Fox station in La Crosse from 96 to 2000. So by the time I get to WSAW, I've had 18 years working for 7 Hall of Fame broadcasters. Now my job was to take what I've learned and plug it into a heritage TV station like Channel 7, which was Dick Dudley's TV station. And Dick was still in town, giving direction. Basically, we started, I needed an anchor. I knew an anchor in La Crosse by the name of Sue Ramsett, very important hire. She stayed with us 10 years. She was my 6 and 10 anchor. She could do all the things in news that I could not do. When 9/11 hit, she'd been on the job for 3 weeks. It's my first year, and we had to decide how we're going to handle a national emergency. And what we did was we did a telethon with 48 hours notice. We opened the airwaves up and said, if you can sing, you can dance, please come. And they did. It was one of the most proud moments of Channel 7 of my career there. The other thing I'm proud of at Channel 7 is I hired 5 news directors in succession that went on to do bigger and better things. Sue Ramsett ended up being a senior vice president overseeing 5 stations at Gray Television. I then hired Michael Lauber, who now is the news director at WOWT, the Gray station in Omaha. I then hired Jessica Leszewski, who is sitting here today, and she now is the current general manager at Channel 7. And I hired Sarah Gray, who works at corporate at Gray as a producer, teacher. And then we hired Bridget Fargen, who now is the current news director at WMTV in Madison. That's 5 news directors back to back to back to back. That's hard to do. I'm so fortunate. Our success at Channel 7 is mainly due to those news directors, the product that we put out. Oh, okay.
In closing, I would like to thank the people that taught me how to do this job and the staff that I had. One last note, the best political coordinator in all of Gray Television, 114 markets, is sitting right there, and his name is Chris Swope. We did the cycles. I handle political personally. Chris is the best at it that I've ever worked with and is the best according to the political director at Gray. And for that, I thank you, and my 4 minutes is up. I'm humbled and honored.
Thank you, Al. That was fantastic, and welcome to the Silver Circle. Long before any of you saw Bill Jarts on television, I saw him live, performing at a different venue. You see, before my family moved to Baraboo, Wisconsin, I lived 6 blocks from Dike Stadium, home of the Northwestern Wildcats, the team Bill played for. And after our grade school games at St. Francis Xavier Grade School, threw that in for you, Father, we would ride our bikes over to Dike Stadium, and the guards would go, seriously, come on in, bring a friend, bring 2, it's fine. And they were going through a rough patch then, let's be honest, but they were our heroes. None of us were smart enough to get into Northwestern, but they were our heroes. They were our hometown Big Ten team. And they were our heroes, like I say, and Bill, I will never forget that game when you guys held Michigan to under 70 points. Oh, did it move us. Oh. Now, if you're mad at me, I ran that joke by Cammie, and she said you have to do it. So blame her. But Bill was a lineman. Those of you who don't know football, they're the ones who do the heavy lifting so others can get the glory. His longtime co-anchor, Cammie Rapson, told me that makes sense because it was during his career that Bill Jarts put other people's glories first. It's just how humble he is, and it's the way he treats people that cannot be replicated. Now, he's going to get up here in a second, and he's going to tell you he's just a farm boy from Clintonville. But you know what? That farm boy from Clintonville's in the Silver Circle. Welcome.
So I do remember seeing Bill, and actually all the sports guys. He was head of the sports department at that time, and he's just a welcoming guy. You know when Bill is in a room, you know when Bill is in a room. He is the guy who greets you first. Hi there, Bill Jarts, nice to meet you. A booming laugh. He asks about you. Tell me about yourself. Tell me who you are. He is just the kindest, gentlest soul, and I loved working with him then. I worked with him as a sports anchor.
Catch Bill Jarts tonight on Action 2 News.
Well, I had worked with Bill a couple times. The first time I worked with him, it was the January 1st, 1994 Rose Bowl. I was working in La Crosse, and all the ABC stations went out and kind of worked together on a special because it was such a monumental occasion for the Badgers to get back to the Rose Bowl. And that's the first time that I had worked with Bill, and I had known Bill before I came to Green Bay, and we had also, obviously, with my time in Milwaukee covering the Packers, I certainly crossed paths with Bill quite a bit. But to work with him was to live what everyone else said about him.
Ladies and gentlemen, Billy Jarts, the champion. Congratulations. Where we're going to touch.
And that, I mean, that's the magic of Bill. He is an incredible human being. Take the broadcaster away, he's an incredible human being.
And then when I got the chance to work with him as his news anchor, it was just heaven. He said, no, I've really thought about this, and you know, I went to school for journalism. I've always wanted to do this, and I applied for it, and I hope you'll give me a shot. And I was thinking, me, dude. So we did a run through, and it was easy. It was super easy.
PCBs dumped into their local landfill.
But many of those neighbors came for a chance to speak out.
And worked nearly 27 years together as a co-anchor team. Well, it's a pretty long run. But when you had him off camera, he was telling you stories, he was roaring, he was laughing, he was making you laugh, and he has a way of sharing things with you that you just felt like you knew him.
From the very beginning, he never was looking over my shoulder. He never said, you should do this. Was he there to answer questions and be there if I needed some advice? Absolutely. But he never forced it on me. He never said, this is the WBAY way we do sports. He let me do it, and I'm forever grateful for that.
The thing that makes Bill Jartz stand apart is his overwhelming commitment to community. Overwhelming.
Fresh slates on the dance floor. Put another quarter in the jukebox, baby. Woo-hoo!
He always put nonprofits and causes and auctions. He would put those in high esteem. He was honored to do those. They were never work for him.
I mean, you talk about legends in broadcasting, you can now just put Bill's picture next to that phrase because he's done it all. And like I said, he's done it all as the same guy. And I don't know how many people can say that.
I'm super proud of him. He's going to be the first one that says, I don't deserve this. I can't believe I'm up here. I don't think I don't know why they're doing this for me. But we all know why they're doing this for you. We do, we know, because you're the best. You're the best.
Please welcome 2026 Silver Circle inductee, Bill Jartz.
He just told me my Delta's name is Flounder. Ted, just so you know, we won 3 games in 4 years. We were 340-1 in 4 years there at Northwestern. So I appreciate you guys coming over there. We had 17,000 with a big house for us. Michigan, quick story before we start. Don't start the clock now. This is where you're sitting up, taking up Ted here. Michigan, our senior, we're supposed to play Michigan one year for our homecoming game, and the athletic director over there said, I tell you what, we'll give you $300,000 to move the game over to our house. Because at our place, they'd have about 30,000 people over there. They'd have 100,000. They wanted to make some money. But anyway. Thank you all, and congratulations to all the award winners today. I look around the list, and what an incredible list of people who made us such a tremendous difference for at least 25 years in the state. Now, when I look at that list, I think of that song, that Sesame Street, one of these things is not like the other, and that's me. For me, this is sort of the Walter Payton Award of the NFL. You're kind of okay what you did on the field, but you kind of recognize more for what you did off. I'm comfortable with that. And like many of you don't have a lot of awards or anything, my journalism work, the guy I replaced as sports director of BAY in 1985, Joe Schmidt, has 19 Emmy Awards. 19. I know 4 Emmys. Emily Matesic, Emily Deem, Emily Roberts, and Emily Byer. As I wrapped up my broadcasting career last year, I thought, well, what a waste of a Medill School of Journalism education when you think about it. I had to get lucky or just good once in a while to pick up some award. But I didn't. But as Jerry Burke pointed out, Jerry, thank you again for the nomination. I served the community pretty well. I did a lot of MC work, I won a couple of cheese curd eating contests, cherry pit spitting contests as well. Gave some speeches, raised a lot of money through auction. Did one last night at Notre Dame Academy. And was honored and am honored to continue to host the CP Telethon in Green Bay for the last couple of decades. It's the longest running local telethon in the entire country. 72 years we'll celebrate March 8th. It's an incredible deal. I grew up watching that telethon in Clintonville, and I always think when I drive home, that's a day that was worth me taking breaths. Very proud of all the things I've done off the set, and that will be my legacy in this industry. Now, of course, none of this would be possible if we've all kind of touched base with the people who helped you out. State Broadcasting Hall of Famer Mark Zelich, he gave me a chance. He hired me because I was a Channel 7 football all-star my senior year in high school. When I played football against Seymour's, the aforementioned Joe Schmidt, he helped me get me to Green Bay in 1983. Told me that you had to work hard and never ask you to do something he himself wouldn't do. We just lost the legendary Chuck Ramsey last month. I watched him as a kid growing up. I shared an office with him in Green Bay. He was the guy that recommended me to replace the departing anchor. And because he had such sway at the station, they gave me a shot. They said, he was in sports, he can do it. and it worked for me. I had the privilege of delivering part of his eulogy last week. What a loss that was, and what an honor that was for me. Now, I'm not a Mormon, but I do want to salute my 2 wives over my table. My real wife of 41 years, Mary, whom I met while I was wearing black bell-bottom pants and a brown shirt in Wausau. We met on a blind date. She has since gotten her eyes fixed. She spent a lot of nights at home alone while I was out doing my thing. She's the fun one in our family, believe me, and a great supporter. My TV wife of some 30 years, Cammie over there. Thanks for the comments here, kid. Cammie and I shared the set for 9/11, murder trials, frustrating NFC losses by the Green Bay Packers, the Lambeau Field renovation vote, you name it. And for almost 27 years, we're a pretty good team. Jerry Burke, his wife Mary. Jerry was here last year getting a Silver Circle Award. Jerry wrote my nomination letter. We appreciate that. Jerry owned the Fox Valley. His retirement party, there were DAs and judges. I mean, it was the who's who. You walk in, oh my God, there's the judge and there's a judge and the DA. You own the valley, Jerry, and you saved my bacon one time. We came back from that state softball tournament. We had like 5 minutes to do a package, and we pulled it off. Thank you, my friend. Also on my table, John Devereaux, his wife Jane. John was our chief photographer at BAY. Put a lot of extra effort into making me look pretty good when I switched from sports to news. Johnny, appreciate that. Will Santowski, Will the Thrill. There he is, right there in the gray or the brown coat. His dedication to the station is what makes BAY what it is today. Willie, thank you again. And Will's one of those guys that makes me look better than I deserve. Sound like Dave Ramsey there, don't I? Also on my table, Carrie Clancy. Have Diet Coke, will travel. She was the brains behind our Super Bowl run, our Rose Bowl trips, and I'll tell you what, you had the opportunity to work in really big markets with great people. You deserve that, because you carried me on your back for a lot of time. Also, Steve Lavin, the general manager, Tim Hunt, my colleague in sports, thank you. You know, folks, covered 3 Super Bowls, a Rose Bowl, NCAA basketball tournaments, been to Tokyo, Washington, D.C., and on Packer home games, I get to say, and that's another Packers first down. As Will would say, not bad for a former Clintonville trucker. Been a good run with a great bunch of folks. Thank you again.
He forgot to mention one of those losses was to St. Francis Xavier, 6th grade football. Bad stretch for the Wildcats. There are logical arguments to be made for not making Bill Belichick a first-round selection in Pro Football Hall of Fame. That's not a discussion for this morning. I'm just using it as a point of reference because there are no reasons why Dr. Patricia Lowe, is just now getting into Wisconsin's Silver Circle. Because in 2024, she marked 50 years in journalism. So if we had the money and the cost of gold wasn't so much, we would have turned this into a Golden Circle Award for you, Patty. But times are tight, so we're going to give you an IOU. Radio reporter, TV anchor, documentary filmmaker, author, professor, Dr. Lowe's achievements are nothing short of remarkable. I started watching her when our family moved to Baraboo, and then in college at UW-Madison, and I moved away for a few years down south, and when I moved back to Wisconsin in Milwaukee in 1993, it was so nice to see this familiar face on the air because she was the co-host of an amazing public affairs show called Wisconsin Public Weekend, called Weekend on Wisconsin Public Television. The show came on every Friday night, and my weekend could not start till it was over. Last night, I went on the YouTube and I watched old clips of past shows, and it was like watching a master class in how to conduct interviews. Fair, smart, balanced, knowledgeable, you own the room. Google them. Just not right now, because right now, we want to welcome Milwaukee's very own, that's right, born and raised here in the Cream City, Professor Patricia Lowe. Welcome to Wisconsin Silver Circle.
She's an anchor. She's a storyteller.
As you probably know, Patty has an incredible energy.
A debate monitor. She's a field reporter. She's a teacher.
She really had the students first and foremost in her mind.
Besides her sense of kindness, Patty has a great sense of humor.
With regards to her savoir-faire, Patty had it in spades.
When I went to the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse for my undergraduate degree, I actually didn't start in journalism. I switched majors 7 times. The first journalism class I took, I absolutely loved, and I wound up getting hired full-time to be a farm reporter, which was the wrong job for me because I grew up in Milwaukee in a housing project. So there I am doing radio news, and there was a push from the FCC to get more women into television, and both television stations in La Crosse called me the same week and offered me jobs. And I took the higher offer, which was at WXOW for $75 a week. I got a call from my old employer, WKOW-TV in Madison, and the general manager offered to pay for a master's and PhD if I would come back to Madison and anchor the evening newscasts again.
When she was still at WKOW, and journalists will remember covering the boat landings during the spearfishing and treaty rights dispute in northern Wisconsin. You talk about knowing your subject matter. Here was pre-Dr. Patty Lowe, Native American scholar, but here was Ojibwe member Patty Lowe covering a story that she knew every dimension of.
Hello, I'm Patty Lowe.
While I was working in commercial television, I also transitioned into public TV.
Patty co-anchored Weekend every Friday night.
Remember healthcare reform?
And it was an aggressive format. You know, over the course of an hour weekend program, we would have 5 to 6 talk segments. It's a lot of yakking.
Well, I was really interested in political news.
She has a real way of bringing out the charm in the most boring person. That comes in handy when you're talking to politicians. Really handy.
They were actually very civil discussions, wonderful discussions, the kind that we don't see, unfortunately, in news and public affairs anymore. After I graduated, I continued to work with PBS, got an academic appointment in the College of Agricultural and Life Sciences.
She taught a course called Native American Environmental Issues and the Media. Students loved Patty.
Patty's significant contribution here was the enthusiasm that she brought to developing classes for students that were experiential, service learning projects.
I took my undergraduates every year. I would take them to the Oneida Reservation in Wisconsin to help with the white corn harvest, to generate stories about food sovereignty and life on that particular reservation. I took my graduate students to the Bad River Reservation, my own reservation.
It developed into a service learning project. She did it for many, many years, and it was a beloved class here at Medill. Patty is a naturally generous and kind person, and I think that probably made her a great broadcaster. That probably made her a great journalist, and it also makes her a great educator.
When you combine that kind of devotion to bringing students in to the business of journalism with her own academic experience and a leading scholar among Native American academics, it's a 1-2 punch.
Please welcome 2026 Silver Circle inductee, Patty Lowe.
Ooh, it's almost like being in the Olympics. But I just got my hips replaced, so I don't think I'll be competing in the skeleton or luge this year. Thank you for this wonderful honor. 50 years, I'd like to believe I'm too young for this Lifetime Achievement Award, but it was 50 years ago last month that I anchored my first television newscast on WXOW TV in La Crosse, January 1st, 1976. I had been hired over the phone. I'd never been in a television newsroom before, and no one was more surprised than me when, my first day in a TV station, at 5:45, my boss handed me a script and said I was anchoring the news that night. I'd done radio for 2 years before that, but I'd never been in front of a camera, and I was scared. So scared that I read super fast. I was just clipping along, and no one told me how to end my part of it and how to get out of this newscast. And I look down and I see I've got maybe 15 seconds left, and I look up and I see I've got 45 seconds left to burn. So I started reading very slowly, and all I could think about in my panic was, what does Walter Cronkite do? Well, Walter Cronkite, when he's finished with this newscast, he shuffles his papers, he looks, he kind of leans into the camera and with a lot of confidence says, and that's the way it is on such and such a date. So I get to the end of this newscast, and I lean purposefully and confidently into the camera and say, and that's the way it is on January 1st, 1976. And I leaned back and I shuffled my papers, and my palms were sweating so badly that I had paper stuck to both hands. It was an epic fail, but it was also the days before XOW had videotapes, so there's no incriminating evidence. It never happened. From that rocky start, I'm grateful to all the colleagues I learned from and who overlooked or helped me overcome my mistakes. I'm grateful to those in underserved communities, particularly Indigenous communities, who entrusted their stories to me. When I look back at some of the reporting I've done, it's those stories that I'll remember, the stories about treaty rights and sovereignty, documentaries that looked for solutions rather than just reporting on conflict. And I'll remember the work my team and I did for 20 years working with tribal teens in our Native American tribal youth media projects. We connected our teens to stories about climate change and the environment by having them create digital stories through interviews with Native American elders and Native scientists. We hope that through their digital storytelling, we'd help create the next generation of land stewards. I'm particularly grateful that I was able to be a journalist during the golden age of news, when many of the radio and television stations were still locally owned and operated, when you had maybe 2 newspapers delivered to your doorstep, and before spin doctors, social media, when anybody today can present themselves as a journalist, and where AI is making it really difficult to know what's true and what's fake. I'm grateful to my colleagues at WKOW, WXOW, PBS Wisconsin, with their high standards of journalism excellence, and I'm grateful for the path journalism provided me into academia, and especially to my colleagues at UW-Madison and Northwestern University at the Medill School of Journalism, who are nurturing the next generation of journalists. I'm grateful to my family and friends, the Denomies, who have joined me today. I'm particularly grateful to my husband, David Braga, who has been a rock for 30, I'll have to do the math later, honey. I know we've been married a long time. And I'm grateful to the National Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, who have honored me with this Silver Circle Award. And no matter how much he may want it, I'm not sharing this award with President Trump. Thank you.
I was so mesmerized by your words. I was so enjoying it.
Please welcome the President and CEO of the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association, Michelle Vetterkind.
On behalf of the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association, I'd like to congratulate Lance, Mark, Ann, Carrie, Bill, Al, and Patty. Thank you for your extraordinary contributions to our industry and your communities. And congratulations to all of you in this room. Sometimes, when you're in the trenches every day, the importance of what you do gets lost. Yet, what you do is unmatched by any other local resource. Wisconsin's radio and television stations contribute approximately $270 million a year to their communities through fundraising efforts and donations of airtimes for public service announcements. Every single day, you inform us, you uplift us, you entertain us, you serve us, and for that, you should all be congratulated. In that spirit, I am absolutely delighted to announce that the WBA has added a third education debt relief grant to help young broadcast professionals. The Eric Miller Panther Vision Grant will be available to television producers, photojournalists, and video editors. The WBA is grateful to the Milwaukee Press Club Endowment for being such careful stewards of the Eric Miller Fund over the years. We are also grateful to Press Club leaders, Marianne Lazarski and Pat Hastings, for honoring Eric's family's request to move the money to our debt relief grant program. You can find that information about that grant, as well as the Boyd Hubert and Results Broadcasting debt relief grants, on the second to last page of your program. Applications will be accepted throughout March. I'm most grateful to be here to celebrate with you all. Please be proud of what you do and keep fighting this good and important fight, knowing that what you do really does make a difference. Thank you.
Very well said, Michelle. Thank you. I'm still giggling at my mix-up when I panicked, and Dr. Lowe was up here, and I said, well, where's her medal? And Jimmy goes, you already put it on her. Never said I was the smartest kid in the room. Okay, the alums are here, so we're going to go alphabetically, so you can kind of anticipate. Please hold applause till they're all standing, but the Silver Circle grows every year, and that's the beauty. And what's really beautiful is that people come back. So if you're an inductee today, you're always welcome. Jimmy Angeli is running camera today, coming out of retirement, so there he is right there. That's the one time I'll allow you to applaud, okay? We're going to get through this together. Kent Aschenbrenner, excuse me. Kent, thank you. Charles Benson is here. Stand up, Bigfoot. Where are you? There you go. Nick Bohr is here. Jerry Burke is here, the aforementioned Jerry Burke. Denise Calloway is here. Sean Downs is here, and he's handing out the Mark Baden chapstick if you haven't had it yet. My old co-anchor, Joyce Garbasiak, is here today. Joycey, welcome. Jesse Garcia is here today. Brian Graham is here with us. Rita Alleman is here today. Did I get that, Rita? Did I say it right? Okay, that's good. All right. I did it just like Baden told me to. Who else is here today? Jason Hunter is here today from WISN. Susan Kim is joining us. Dennis Krause is here. Marianne Lazarski was going to be here. She became ill, so we wish her well. Tony Lucas is here. Everett Marshburn is here. He is a gold inductee. So that is you're allowed to clap for the golds, yes. Dwight Moss is here. Dan Needles is joining us. Good to see you, Danny. Well, I'm here, Ted Perry. Renee Raffelli is here. Gary Reichstadt's working in our booth here. I've always wanted to be in a team thing with Gary, and here we finally are. Rick Reitenbach is here. Rick Reitbach is here. Myra Sanchek is here, as is Sally Severson. Stand up, Sally. Mike Strelo is here, the kindest man in television. Kent Wainscott is here. Joanne Williams is joining us. And Jim Wilson is here as well. Jimmy, stand on up. And Mark Saromsky. Number Z in your program, number 1 in your heart. All right. Congratulations and thank you for being here. You make this event special by honoring the new inductees. It means a lot to them. You ready, boss? Now, you can follow Mark Baden on social media for weather forecast if you like. He's an excellent meteorologist. There's no doubt about it. I prefer to follow him on social media for the dad jokes. Here's one from just this week. I'll do algebra and I'll do trig, but geometry is where I draw the line. I mean, how do you not love a guy who thinks to put that on? And you know it. I love it. I love it. Mark is cooler than the other side of a pneumonia front. Whether it's a hurricane or a blizzard, nothing seems to faze this guy. But a source tells me woe be it to the person who doesn't turn on their headlights in a storm. Or worse, that young producer who has the gall, nay, the temerity, to write daylight savings time. I hear it gets ugly. Here's a look at Mark's Silver Circle career thus far.
We're going out to Mark Baden. Mark, how's it look outside?
We're seeing winds probably near 30 to 35 miles per hour, blowing me right off the roof almost. It's 78 degrees in Des Moines, Iowa.
And watch for meteorologist Mark Baden, the newest member of our team. When he walked in, I remember thinking, this is going to be a marriage made in heaven, because he had a genuine smile. He was happy to be here. He was so excited.
Due northeast right now.
What you see on air is what you get in person, the friendliness and the expertise and knowledge.
That's when we were getting some of the enhancement.
We were able to work together so well and so comfortably.
Sally, let's head back to you in the studio.
All right, Mark. There is nobody I'd rather work with side by side than Mark Baden.
I want people in this area to be warned that there's a tornado that is heading your way.
You can't get local severe weather from a national organization in a timely manner. People will die.
Just go ahead and take shelter to be on the safe side.
Delivering the information in a clear, concise manner that won't panic people, but a manner that will convey the urgency that the situation requires.
This is Port Washington Road. You can see a river running right through it. There's a mattress sitting in the middle of the road right now.
He was out in some of the worst weather ever.
I'm meteorologist Mark Baden in Cocoa, Florida, where Hurricane Francis is raging. We're at sustained hurricane force winds here in Beaumont.
We always watched Channel 12, and Mark Baden was a huge part of that. I'm pretty sure my mom had a crush on Mark Baden growing up.
Mark Baden said it would be like this.
Mark said it would be like this. It was always going to be like that.
Mark Baden said it would be like this.
I remember my mom dressing us in the way that Mark said it was going to be like.
Mark is gonna keep you in the know. Mark said it would be like this.
Oh, there that went.
He is always smiling. He's totally himself. And then after I started interning here, I'm like, he's the exact same person that he is on the television.
Linz, I'm going to throw it over to you, and you can talk about our new warning that's just come out.
When I get to work with him, it's just like working with a brother or a family member because it's easy.
I think what makes Mark a great meteorologist is he's really into it, and you can't help but feel that when you watch his weathercast.
It's important to Mark, and it was important to me as well, to become part of the fabric of the community.
Welcome to Oscar Night America.
Mark Baden has emceed every single event I feel in Milwaukee.
Our own Mark Baden set the race in motion.
He always made a point to tell our team, we need to get out there because being somewhere in person just means so much more.
Well, happy birthday.
What makes Mark Baden is his ability to just be himself.
Angela, you told me I had to
You
wear it.
have to wear that.
We'll be on the set with Regis and Kelly.
Milwaukee, how are you? All right, let's go for it, Mark, because one day you could be sitting here next to Kelly.
We all have dreams.
I
longer?
promise this is it.
I'm not complaining, but
Oh,
really, how
I
much
know,
longer?
You guys don't mind, do you?
Hey, don't talk to my audience. Mark, everybody.
Thanks, guys. I am tracking a couple of chances of me having some problems speaking.
He is like the goofiest guy,
If I only had a brain.
but it's like in the best, funniest way.
Boom, 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 boom.
Just dancing back and forth at the green wall.
Monday, Monday.
It is the dumbest but funniest thing,
Gonna get very white by the 10 o'clock.
and that's what sticks in my brain.
Snow, snow, snow.
It's fantastic.
And let's do it again. This just in, Baden is old. Ooh, that's a lot of wrinkles. Oh my goodness.
Please welcome 2026 Silver Circle inductee, Mark Baden.
Wow, that was a lot. I had not seen that until now. First of all, congratulations to my fellow inductees. How humbling it is to be here. So much talent in this room, so many people that, I mean, what am I doing here? This is really a very high honor. For those of you that know me know awards don't mean a lot. This one does. So it is great to be here with all of you. And I'm going to warn you, by the way, I forecast for a living. There's about a 100% chance I'm going to get emotional in about the next 30 seconds. I'll start with the hard part. My mom and dad, thank you for being here. Thanks for my moral compass. Thanks for my ethical compass. Thanks for treating me wonderfully, but making sure that I treat everyone wonderfully. That comes from you. To my incredible in-laws, Tom and Sharon, and I say incredible and you are, thanks for treating me like the son you never had. And especially, thanks for letting me marry your fantastic daughter. To my 3 daughters, Grace, Claire, and Kate, 2 out of 3 are here. The other one, Claire, is currently on an airplane to Portugal. Dad's Silver Circle, Portugal. Portugal wins. And finally, to my rock, my everything, my wife, Heather. Thank you for all the sacrifice to let me have the career I've had, so thank you. All right, whew, hard part's done. Let's go back to March of '97. What in the world was Hearst Television thinking? I was 26 years old when I became chief at WISN. And I was up, first of all, I was a cocky kid. I thought I was going to take Milwaukee by storm. I mean, this is nothing. I've got this. But then I realized, oh man, look at who's at the other stations. I've got Paul Joseph, John Milan, Vince Candela, Bart Adrian, Jim Ott. Those combined had been at the market for like 180 years. I mean, these were juggernauts. These were the absolute giants in broadcast meteorology, not just in Milwaukee, but literally they're known around the country. And so somehow, some way, I got through it. They let me continue on. One of the reasons is you saw it right there. Mark said it would be like this. I give creative services a huge amount of credit for my career. Why? Because I was an unknown. I mean, literally, I was this kid who somehow was chief in Iowa before he came here, but they gave me a chance, and I was lucky enough to work for an incredible TV station. I'm still lucky enough to be there. I don't know how I was given the opportunity to work for Hearst Television, but it's really worked out well. And I hope I can finish it out. I'm not done, by the way. It does feel like a retirement speech in many, many ways. But the Mark Said It'd Be Like This campaign was huge. And so it really allowed me to spread my wings here in Milwaukee. And I'm so glad. Could have gone other places. I am so glad I didn't. This has worked out so well. I such a fortunate person. I'm moving along pretty good. This isn't bad. I want to recognize the people that don't always get recognized. The producers, the directors, the editors, the assignment desk, the photographers, all the engineers. I know I'm going to forget some people, but let's recognize them for their hard work. They often don't have a chance to get in the Silver Circle, but they need to be recognized for what they've done and what they continue to do. So I thank you for this incredible honor. It is really special. This will mean something to me for years and years to come. And I leave you with one simple thing. You knew I wasn't going to make it all the way without doing something silly. So, do you know why they're called news anchors? Because they weigh down the news until you get to weather. Thank you, everybody.
Well done, Mark. Well done. And now to the unsinkable Ann Brown. Ann has been my coworker, my boss, my now very respected competitor, but I'm most fortunate that I get to call her my friend. You're going to see a piece here in a second. It's going to be talking all about how unflappable Ann Brown is. And it's all true. But I can tell you one time where I saw her lose it. Absolutely lose it. You see, Ann is a proud graduate, I can't believe I'm saying this, of the Ohio State University. It's the last time I'm doing that. And she is an insane and knowledgeable football fan. And many years ago, just days after Ann gave birth to her second child, Ann, her husband Mike, her sister Kelly, who's now the GM at the CBS in Philadelphia, Jim Wilson was there. Everyone, about 15 other people from Fox 6, cramming down into my man cave to watch the Ohio State-Miami NCAA football championship. I don't know if you remember, it was a back-and-forth affair. I believe it went into overtime. And the woman whose blood pressure doesn't raise a tick during breaking news or does not break a sweat during urgent deadlines was pacing, yelling, jumping up and down as if she were at Sun Devil Stadium herself, swinging her arms around like she was Maurice Clarett carrying the ball. I'm like, this woman just gave birth, and she's pretty, up and down, a little irrational maybe, and I think it was a side of her that her husband Mike had never seen before, because in between the screams about how bad these refs are and the yells of excitement for the Buckeyes, Mike's calm but firm voice filled the gap in the air, and he said, "Hey, Annie, why don't you give me the baby until the game's over?" Robert's still okay, right? Okay. He wasn't here. I got nervous. Welcome, Ann Brown, to Wisconsin Silver Circle, my friend.
Ann Brown is a force.
One of the best bosses I ever had.
A great leader.
Such a caring individual.
She is smart, she is funny, she is eloquent.
As my father would say, Ann has been the fairy godmother of my career.
I have VHS video of her in her senior year in college as she was trying to get a reporting job, and she was talking about the rejection letters that she got.
She was brought here as managing editor, and she had this big city experience because she worked in DC, and that had instant credibility with us, but she didn't act like it.
If I'm working in a newsroom with Ann Brown, I'm grateful that that reporting career never took off, because who she is as a leader was meant to impact this world.
She's aware of everything, from the smallest details to the largest big picture things.
I think above all her attributes, her intelligence, her wisdom, her leadership, her vision, I think her calmness is her greatest attribute, and she brings that out in you.
And she's just one of those people that you trust. Anne was someone who was constantly in your corner.
You have to step up to the plate, you have to prove yourself, but she will guide you. She will take the time not to hold your hand, but to pat you on the back in a way that most leaders forget how to do.
And also just, she's a real person. She's just a real good person.
One of the things that I remember early on Anne telling me was, serve the viewer, not the newsroom. Because we can be loud, gregarious, big places with a lot of big personalities, but ultimately at the end of the day, the people we answer to is the viewer.
She really knows how to capture what people are thinking about and talking about.
We collaborated and developed Real Milwaukee. 15 years strong, it's still there.
She sees something in people that maybe they haven't seen yet, or she finds a way to pull them out.
I would consider her a great friend as well as a great boss, because I know I can tell her anything. She's gonna be there for me. And I mean 24/7 be there for me.
I've cried in her office. I've laughed uncontrollably in her office.
But it was more of just like that best friend that I could go in her office, close the door, unload, and dang, if she didn't always have a good answer, a good solution.
There was times in my career where it was just too much, and I remember welling up, and then I'm like, I gotta go. I just go to the bathroom. Anne would come in a couple moments afterwards, like, okay, like, let me talk you through it. Those are friend moments.
She also has shown me how selfless a person can be. When my sister was battling breast cancer, she had young children at the time, and it was a scary thing for them. And I remember she called me up because she was starting to lose her hair. And I said, wow, what are you gonna do about that? And she said, well, you know what? She said, I'm gonna turn it into a party. We're gonna pour a glass of wine, and we're all gonna take turns cutting my hair and shaving my head, because that way it becomes something fun.
I remember when Anne called us all into the office to tell us about the diagnosis. And what's kind of funny is that Rob Haswell wasn't there that day, so we thought the big announcement was he was getting fired. Even with her health and all of that, my money's still always on Anne. Anne, congratulations on this 25-year celebration.
Congratulations, Anne. Well deserved. It couldn't happen to a better person.
Congrats, Anne.
Annie, congrats on the Silver Circle. Overdue, but certainly deserved.
Anne, congrats.
And congratulations on this incredible and amazing honor.
What other crazy stuff can I say for you?
Please welcome 2026 Silver Circle inductee, Anne Brown.
Thank you, Ted. Thanks to Zorro as well. I don't know where he went. And to all the people that helped with the video. It's really lovely. You know, a few weeks ago, I was with the producer who put that together. We were watching the video at the station. And he said, I was really interested in seeing your reaction. You know, it's got to be kind of weird to see people talk about you, and which it is. But my reaction was just, I mean, I was just grinning ear to ear. I was laughing, all flooded with all the memories, and it was just great. It was just really great. And it made me think of this quote that the great violinist Isaac Stern had said when he was talking about music, playing music. And he said, anybody can play the notes. The music is what happens in between the notes. And I thought, you know, how true that is. All the little moments that add up that we don't really realize, and all the little connections that are the music of our lives and put together our lives and our careers. And we might not even realize that they're happening. Like for me, I don't know that I realized almost 30 years ago when I was moving from DC to Milwaukee, I reached out to Jeff Kiernan, who graciously took my call. We had a couple calls, tried to figure out a job for me at TMJ4. It didn't work out. So I ended up over at Fox 6, which was great. I worked, I don't know, maybe 10 feet from Carrie Doctor for years. I worked literally 3 feet from Ted, because my desk was right behind his. And we had a good professional relationship. We became better friends when he dated my sister, which I do recognize that having a sister who dated Ted Perry doesn't put you in exclusive company. But it does forge the way for a very, very good friendship. Ted and Kelly babysat the infant son he referenced during the football game. 3 years after that, that infant son went to preschool with Baden's daughter. So we got to know each other in preschool. Years after that, I'm down in Chicago at Trib Tower for budget meetings, and somebody's giving me a tour, or we're kind of walking through, getting a guided tour, and they're like, oh, that's Steve Farber over there. Years later, Steve's at Weigel and hires me to be the general manager at CBS 58. He has supported me in numerous decisions that I've made, one among them, hiring Lance Allen. It's all the moments, it's all the music, and it's happening now. I want us all to recognize that, and I really hope that we do. These are the moments. In between these big moments, it's the little things, it's the laughter, it's the comments. That's what holds us together. My husband, Mike, is very good at the little moments. We're not necessarily big moment people. He's very good at the little nuanced ones, and I would certainly be remiss if I left here without saying thank you to him publicly for the love and support that you've given me over the years. And I do venture to say that there are several people in this room who have benefited from the sage advice of Mike Brown, as he has counseled me through my years. So as I wrap up here with just a heart full of gratitude, I just want us all to try to remember that, from the young students who are putting this together, to Owen, who we met earlier, to those of us in the server circle who are in between, somewhere in between, that let's not just play the notes, right? Anybody can do that. Let's get out there and make the music. Thank you.
So many things I want to say. I'm going to walk over here and go, oh, this is what the high road looks like. Never been here before. I was just handed a bulletin, by the way. Who can read this together? Oh, Rob Haswell's been fired. Kat, you weren't far off. Wow. Rob Haswell has not been fired. Stand down, everyone. All right. We're going to end this afternoon with Jeff Kiernan, which is fitting that Jeff goes last because his entire career has been spent putting other people first. How respected is the man they call Scoop? I know this, that people at other stations have called him for career advice. I know this to be true. A former employee says he still doesn't get enough credit for being a risk taker, a pioneer, a genius at finding not only on-air talent, but someone with a keen sense of knowing who works best and where in the ecosystem of a newsroom. That he's skilled in taking a diverse group of people and coaching them to be their best and getting them to see a single collective vision. That's easy to say. It's nearly impossible to do. Susan Kim now, with a look at a brilliant career that is far from over.
Jeff Kiernan's Silver Circle TV news career began 40 years ago in radio. When he eventually landed at WTMJ AM in Milwaukee, he quickly impressed TMJ4's main anchor at the time, Mike Goucher.
It was his intensity, it was his maturity. For those of us working on the television side at the time, we could see the potential, and I think most of us began to think, why don't we have him come from radio news into the TV newsroom?
Jeff made the move, but his career at TMJ4 almost ended as it was beginning. Jeff was the assignment desk manager and forgot to call his new boss when the Jeffrey Dahmer story broke.
Vats of acid, body parts, serial killer. Any one of those would qualify for calling and alerting your news director.
Despite the rough start, he and Jim went on to become a power duo, helped by Jeff's many connections.
In Milwaukee, before the internet, there was Jeff Kiernan. He was wired everywhere in the city. His nickname is Scoop.
Scoop took over as news director in 1995 and stayed nearly a decade. before CBS snatched him away. He went on to lead 3 O&O stations.
I think Minnesotans are very personal people.
Well, it's been almost 20 years since Jeff Kiernan left WCCO, but his legacy lives on. He came here when our newsroom was in a bit of turmoil. He brought stability and reinforced journalism.
I can always remember walking around the newsroom with a coffee in his hand, always. But he was the first one to roll up the sleeves and jump right in when something was happening.
We had a show called Monsters in the Money, which was completely changing the morning show, but he had me produce it. And actually executive produce it. And it was one of the most challenging times in my life, but it was also one of the most rewarding times.
Milwaukee eventually reached out again, and Jeff returned to TMJ4 in 2018. Kiernan 2.0 led the station's coverage during the pandemic, civil unrest, and a mass shooting at Molson Coors.
You know, I had heard how Jeff, helped coordinate breaking news in his newsroom, but I'd only heard stories, and that was the first time that I got to see it in action. And it was like watching a maestro conduct an orchestra.
TMJ4's parent company, Scripps, got wind of Jeff's exceptional leadership skills. They soon called on him to lead newsrooms at other Scripps stations.
And I started to hear about all the fantastic work he was doing in Milwaukee and Detroit, and I felt like I just had to get to know him and learn from him.
Today, Jeff is vice president of local news for all Scripps TV stations and based back in Milwaukee. Throughout his 4 decades in news, he has impacted countless careers.
Having your unwavering support from the start, it made it easy for me to come into a new station and be myself, and for that I will be forever grateful.
It was at WCCO that I got an opportunity to go to the network to work for CBS News, and Jeff was so supportive of that.
Despite the many moves, Jeff has his constants, a commitment to journalism and his newsroom.
Nobody is going to ever outwork Jeff. Jeff is the only person I know that can leave the office on a Friday afternoon, spend the weekend in Dublin, and then be the first person at the office on Monday morning.
And a commitment to Marquette University as a mentor and with an endowed scholarship for the journalists of tomorrow.
Having someone like Jeff, who is an alum of the program they're in, it's easy for them to be able to imagine that they can accomplish the same things.
From future journalists to veterans like us, congratulations, Jeff, on a Silver Circle career.
This is truly a well-deserved honor.
Congratulations.
Hi, everybody. I'm Don Shelby. Hello, Jeff. Congratulations, bud, on this wonderful honor. 25 years in the Silver Circle. That's great. What? Oh, right here? Oh, this is what you want. Oh, congratulations on that. Did not? Oh, no, this is the gold circle. Yeah, twice as long. Whatever. Anyway, Jeff, I love you with all my heart.
That love for Jeff, not limited to newsrooms.
It is a unique experience to go to Moe's with Jeff Kiernan. It's probably the closest there is to going to Cheers with Norm.
Congratulations, Scoop, on your Silver Circle Award. We're all so very proud of you.
Congratulations, Scoop. We're so proud of you.
Please welcome 2026 Silver Circle inductee, Jeff Kiernan.
That's the first time I saw that video. Incredibly generous in my thanks to Susan Kim and to Lawrence Evans and Greg Schroffnagel at TMJ4 for the video. Just very, very, no words. Thank you to the Television Academy for the Silver Circle Award, and an honor to share the day with Lance and Mark, Ann, Carrie, Bill, Al, and Patty. Family, colleagues, especially TMJ4 and Scripps colleagues, friends all, being together, and as a Marquette alum, MUTV, Johnston Hall, receiving this award on campus today, I am deeply centered. And I recognize I'm the last person standing between you and the exit on a Sunday afternoon. I'm thinking of my parents right now. George and Margaret, Peggy Kiernan, they would park the car in the driveway in Munster, Indiana, just so to be able to pick up my very early weekend morning newscasts on WTMJ radio. And no sooner than the sign-off would they call with immediate feedback and encouragement. My parents were the best. I'm reflective on my broadcasting and journalism roots, especially here in Milwaukee. Other incredible cities, incredible stories, crises, and championships. Two people I have never met remain ever present on my mind. Glenda Cleveland called Milwaukee newsrooms, insisting something wasn't right when Milwaukee police encountered Jeffrey Dahmer. She was right. Alma Benitez witnessed Chicago police encounter Laquan McDonald. She spoke up too. Her words were drowned out by the official narrative. She was right. Do we seek out and see and believe those who might see or believe things differently, and then through our rigorous journalism, give them voice? Every day there is a Glenda and there's an Alma. Are we listening? Are we seeking out voices beyond the obvious? Glenda and Alma remain a check for me. I'm very thankful to the companies that took a chance on me. Hearst Television, Journal Communications, CBS Television, and my current company, EW Scripps. My boss, Dean Littleton, is here, along with corporate leaders Mike Murray, Joe Poss, Sean McGarvey, and Marcus Riley. The business of broadcasting and content, like many businesses, is changing and evolving at warp speed. And unfortunately, journalism is routinely under attack. Thank you, Dean, for continuing to prioritize journalists and communities, for prioritizing holding power to account, an expectation to be good stewards in our communities, creating connection, and committed always to the best journalism. My friends are a constant and a core on this professional and life journey. Many have traveled far to be here today. Ben Tracy, Andy Foster, Brett and Debbie Scarr, many dear local friends here too. Thank you for your trust and your loyalty, for your life-giving friendship. My family is on heart and mind, especially my brother Mark. Mark passed away just before Christmas. His wife and family are here. Mark, like my sisters Jane, Amy, and Joan, endured my erratic schedule and missed family events, yet always believed in me and believed in my work. I am nothing without my family. I live that we're a sum total of our experiences, the good and not so. I am a person still under construction. I have profound gratitude for the experiences and the learnings from so many, and for the patience of my imperfections, all of which allows me to stand here this afternoon. This silver circle is not mine alone. It belongs to those who have made and helped make me a better me. Please, humbly, thank you. Thank you very much.
So very well done, Scoop. Thank you. Thank you for your words. They apply to all of us. Dwayne Walls, would you stand up, please? Dwayne? Is he here? Dwayne Walls. There. Sir, my apologies. I left you off the list of Silver Circle alums who are here, so you get the spotlight to yourself. Score one for the engineers. All right. Time to put a bow on what has been, well, for me, inspiring. The speeches, top notch, including the cheap shots. One more round of applause for all of these 8 wonderful inductees. Can we do that? By the way, guys, the boxes are up here. I didn't know you can come up or I can deliver them or we can have, is it Nate? Nope. Nick, whatever. You don't really have a speaking part, Nick. Just, raise your hand. Nick can run them around for you. Want to give another shout out to the students of Marquette Media Production Team and the, not just college kids, the Union Grove High School Broncos media team is here. They came all the way up from Union Grove today. They are the journalists of tomorrow. And if you've been in a newsroom, you know I'm not talking metaphorically. We may hire them tomorrow. I mean, Wednesday tops. After that, they're stale. Thank you for Jimmy Angeli for coming out of retirement to run that handheld camera. How you doing, Jimmy? Can we get you a tripod for the last 45 seconds? No, you want to go the distance on your own. Jimmy's one of the best men I've ever met in this business. I wish I got a chance to work with him. Many thanks to Don Hertz of Marquette for his animation and video editing brilliance, and to Steve Krause for his engineering talents. Thank you to the 3 students who came up from Columbia College in Chicago to volunteer. And thank you for the talented folks in our production booth, Luke Morrison of Marquette, and of course, Silver Circle member Gary Reichstatter up there. Gary, thank you. And Luke, thank you. Now, if you know of someone deserving of this honor, 25 years or more in the business, forms are going to be available online at the Chicago and Natus website, Chicago Emmy Online. Put February 7th on next year on your calendars for the induction. No, it's not Super Bowl Sunday. Super Bowl Sunday next year is on Valentine's Day, a little fun fact for you. And he didn't put it in the final thank you, but Mark Zaromsky, this doesn't happen without you. It is an honor to work for you again. Mark was my boss 33 years ago, and he was script checking me. He goes, "You sure use a lot of words." And it's nice to know that 30 years later, I'm still doing it. And finally, one more thing. If you have a sister, I hope she meets a nice guy, because I'm not available. All right, be safe, everyone. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for attending the Wisconsin Silver Circle Honor Ceremony. To the Academy Scholarship Fund, go to tinyurl.com/NatusGive. Safe travels, and we hope to see you again next year.